since 1996. So this is something they have a lot of familiarity with one another, with Toya Wilson actually scheduled a home and away November 15th, going back to last year. SMU actually lost by 3, 58-55. We'll see if they can turn things around on this season. Baylor starts off with the ball, a high potent offense, 5th in the nation. Right away, the interior presence you're seeing from Asia Blackwell, and that's no good. SMU, as you mentioned, Helen, trying to fine-tune some things on both ends of the floor. You can see their starting lineups at the bottom of the screen. Tina Jones, also another player that you want to keep your eyes on, was rolling to the basket but couldn't connect at the rim.
Well, you see there, Baylor. Defense is part of their identity that I was talking about earlier today. They are really good at rotating, at communicating, and keeping teams from getting to the spots where they want to get.
Here's your Baylor starting 5. This has been the same starting 5 all season as they're in their 6th game. A lot of length on this roster as well. Another missed opportunity at the rim, though, for the Bears.
You see Baylor, they have a lot of players that can play individually and score one-on-one. They're working on sharing the basketball, as you see there. I think Edwards is a really good passer, a willing passer as well.
14 on the shot clock, and you can see it's a little handsy. It's nice that the officials are making sure that they're calling this one right away. You can see it being tight. Cameron Anoye, Julie Quammen Hoke, and John Calipino on the call for tonight. So the first foul of the ball game goes for SMU. A dish on the inside, and both teams struggling in the paint so far.
Missed easy opportunities, maybe a little bit of nervousness.
That one does go down. Dre Edwards, been a bit of a journeywoman within the NCAA, but has been an impactful player on each roster she's hit.
You'll see she can score inside. She can shoot the 3 as well, and they do a really good job of seeing who's guarding her in terms of where they're going to put her on the floor.
Spent some time at Utah, 2 years at Kentucky, as the 3 from outside goes down for Embry.
Embry, one of those players classified technically as a post player, but obviously you can see shooting 50% from three-point range.
First turnover for the Bears. Young assessing where she wants to go. You could see them taking a lot of air out of the shot clock as well. Top of the key. Screen. Young taking on 2 Bears. No contact called, so
maybe they're going to let some things go.
She was looking around like, where's the call? Another look for Edwards at the rim.
She's going to be a hard guard for SMU.
Sat out last season with the Baylor 4-4-4 transfer rule, this being her 3rd stop. I mentioned her time at Kentucky as another one goes down, but that went along too.
Well, Jones, sort of the X factor for this team, has a very feathery touch from the outside, and they depend on her to be that second scorer.
You can see the speed of Jada Walker very early in this ball game, getting the pace going for the Bears. Couldn't come up with points on that possession. Tamia Jones working baseline and gets the bucket to go. So far, we're seeing a lot of poise from their offense to start.
Yeah, very interesting that the other 4 players just sort of hung back because they knew Tamia was going to go to the basket.
First 3 attempt for the Bears, no good. Young sends it on the inside. Amira Abdur-Rahim just off the mark.
That was the right play. There was definitely a mismatch there. I thought she should have gone toward the lane. She had the open spot there, turned away from the basket.
Young almost came up with a partial block, but on the other side, Mariana was able to clean it up.
You see SMU a little bit more deliberate in setting up their offense so you could get shots like that from Shantae Embry from 3. 2 for 2.
This is the biggest deficit that Baylor has seen this season. Another rip down underneath, and that's back-to-back buckets for Dariana Little Page Buggs.
That's one of her specialties. She goes after those offensive rebounds really hard. She's long, lanky, and can jump.
Dre Edwards pokes it away on the left, misses. SMU actually has numbers. Reagan Bradley tried to work her way to the rim, is able to draw the foul, so 2 free throws coming up. As far as the pace so far, we're seeing something different from SMU to start this game.
Yeah, they're deliberate, but they're also very aggressive, if that makes sense. Looking for their opportunities, picking and choosing when they're going to go to the basket, taking advantage of mismatches, and obviously getting those 2 3-pointers from Shantae Embry off of set offenses.
Asia Blackwell picks up the foul there as we have a couple of substitutions on both sides. One coming in for SMU. TK Pitts checks in, the sophomore. Local kid. Coach credits her toughness and what she was able to bring to the roster. We'll see how she gets things going for the Mustangs as the first of the pair free throws are knocked down.
I like Pitts. She's a kid that really plays hard, sort of a Swiss Army knife. She can play on both ends of the floor. Her coach really likes that about her. Obviously, the defense wants her to be a little bit better with her basketball IQ in terms of offense, but just a real big spark for SMU off the bench.
Aggressive cake to the rim. That's 3 consecutive buckets for Dariana Little Page Buggs.
On the all-freshman team for the AAC last year.
Has 3 consecutive games where she's shooting over 60% from the field.
Oh, beautiful pass.
Foul at the rim, and so free throws on the way, and Baylor can take a lead at the free throw line, but we have our first break of the game. We'll step aside, free throws on the other side.
I'm about to show you how we make a shakaroni pizza.
Bust it.
Stretch out that fresh meat.
Their perfect record coming into this ball game for their first away game as well. The 5th best offense that you're going to see in the NCAA, scored 80 or more points in every game. How about their last game against Utah, too?
And they played a great game against Utah. And, they went through a lot of ups and downs in that game. So I think it was really good for them in terms of trying to figure out who they are. I think Baylor, again, this is their first away game. So a little shaky, if you will, to start the quarter. But they've got 10 points in the paint already. So getting back to what they do, obviously Little Page Buggs already halfway to her 6 rebounds per game.
And we definitely have to make sure that we touch on SMU season summary. In conference, picked 4th to finish. Leads the conference also in field goal percentage for 3-pointers. But I think on the other side of that is what they've been able to do defending the 3 as well. And this is a team that's really built on how they are going to make their presence known on the defensive end for Coach Wilson and her philosophy on that end.
Listen, when your coach is the defensive player of the year, when she was a player, that's going to be part of your identity. So that's a must if you want to get playing time for Coach Wilson.
Yeah, Felder knocks down the free throws. Junior out of Hartford, Connecticut. Also spent time at Ohio. Another spark off the bench for the Bears.
You can see that Baylor has a lot of experience coming off their bench with people who played a lot, who scored a lot, who have tournament experience, and that's going to be great for them as the year goes on.
Baylor has 3 players averaging double figures, but 3 right up there with 9. So that's an incredible when you have 6 players that are close to double figures for you. The depth and the versatility that we've heard also from Coach Nikki Collin about what they've been able to do so far this season has been impressive.
And it's depth that has quality playing time. It's not 8 minutes here, 9 minutes here. You've got 6 kids that played over 20 minutes.
Dariana triple teamed, it seemed like, on the block. Looking for a ball reversal. They'll send it. 7 on the shot clock. Outside, Andrews knocks it down.
A great opportunity for Andrews on the over-rotation from Jones. She got way too far in the lane on the weak side and was not able to get out to Andrews in time.
7-0 run for the Bears. Young, top of the key. 3 balls working for the Mustangs.
She has to be a volume shooter for them in order for them to win. You'll see her take a lot of shots tonight. Speaking of volume shooters, 2 shots in a row, 2 threes in a row for Andrews. And I said at the beginning, they're going to look for opportunities. Now that she doesn't play point as much as she did last year, she's off the ball, she's going to be able to score more.
I think she's doing pretty well. After we saw her warming up earlier today with the hyper ice around her back, she said, I might move like an old lady outside of the game, but I'm coming to play when the lights turn on. Offensive rebound for Pitts, couldn't connect.
Well, not a good shot, I think, there by Reagan Bradley. Should have, I think, worked the ball around a little bit more.
3 for 3 in the possessions for the Bears, and that's their first miss.
That was a heat check there.
Young, so crafty getting to the rim, just off left. A lot of contact underneath, and Young right away says, I'll take that one, coach.
Well, Andrews getting opportunities from three-point range. The defense sinks too far in the lane, leaves her wide open here on the left side. And then she says, hey, I can shoot from both sides of the court. Here, the 3 on the right side.
Sarah Andrews, the senior at her Irving, Texas. All Big 12 first team. And going back to last season, if you are curious about how prolific she's been on the offensive end, only had 7 games she didn't score in double figures, as we have some contact and a foul on this end of the floor.
Abdur-Rahim just sort of plowed her way through the screener there, getting that foul.
Which isn't good because that's her second foul. Abdur-Rahim, just 1 of 3. 1 of 4 6-footers on this roster. When you're looking at the other side, 7 6-footers for Baylor. Does it get any faster than Reagan Bradley?
I think that Baylor's going to talk about their defensive transition. They're not taking great shots sometimes, and that gives SMU the opportunity to get those transition opportunities.
Reagan Bradley shooting 85% from the free throw line, setting up for 2. And knocks it down. Well, Sunday, it's the Jimmy V Women's Classic first. Top-ranked South Carolina takes on Duke at 1 Eastern, followed by number 11 UConn against number 10 Texas at 3 Eastern on ABC. Then number 16 Ohio State faces number 20 Tennessee at 5 Eastern on ESPN. You can watch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app.
There's so many good matchups early in the year for women's basketball. It's really exciting.
Doesn't it feel like it's March already with the different matchups we've seen, the different tournaments that have placed top 10 teams against each other early?
Yaya Felder, a great scorer from Ohio U, not able to hit that bunny.
Too many steps for Bradley, so that'll be another turnover for the Mustangs. That'll be their 4th.
That was great defense by Fauntleroy, not allowing her to turn the corner to get to the basket.
Bears with the 2-point edge and a steal on this end. Tamia Jones, pump fake underneath, and Tiara Young will get free throws. I think it's very intriguing when you have a coach that tells us a couple of the keys. And she said, I want them aggressive early, not just on the defensive end, but also what they're able to complete on the offensive end. She said, I want them in the bonus early.
Want them in the bonus early, and they're making Baylor, I mentioned off camera earlier today, I wonder how Baylor will react if you make them play a half-court game, make them run offense, because their scoring prowess is predicated on their defense and their transitions, easy opportunities, and haven't had a whole lot of that today so far.
So Sarah Andrews will head to the bench for Baylor with 2 fouls. For more substitutions.
When you have players for Baylor come in to substitute, though, there's not really a drop-off because they have so much depth and experience with that depth.
You mean Danae Fritz, who transferred in from Iowa State?
You know, it's interesting. You see now in the leagues all these transfers. They're transferring to schools that are in the same conference. So you literally are playing against, teams that you were on the teams that you played against the previous year. Young is a perfect example. Played at Houston last year. Now playing at SMU.
Named the AAC Player of the Week for November 20th after posting 24 points versus Nickel State and 30 in Colorado as the Bears connect on the other end.
Really nice secondary break there. Caught the defense standing and able to get an easy basket for Fauntleroy.
Tried to see if she can get a steal in the same reception. Nothing there, and another rebound. It goes down to Edwards.
Interesting lineup for SMU. Don't really have post players. It's going to be guard dominated on their offense here in these last few seconds.
Third turnover for the Baylor Bears. We're in our last minute of play in the first period. Peterson, top of the key, back iron. Ada Walker. As we'll have a little bit of a reset for Baylor. About 4 second difference between game and shot clock. Five on the shot clock. Interior look for Edwards, and that'll be a travel call. 8.4 left for SMU to work with. So Perry checks in for the Mustangs. Pitts will take a quick break. 8.4.
Yeah, 8.4 seconds. Got to have a real quick shot here.
Reagan Bradley doesn't know how much is left. It's good if it goes, and it's off the mark. And that will bring the first period to a close. Wilson, actually in her third season at SMU, but actually spent some time with Baylor. Beneficial time, too. Baylor was with them when they won 6 Big 12 championships, won that championship with them as well as an assistant coach in 2019 under Kim Mulkey, and also rare air for her as well, the first black female head coach at SMU.
Yeah, I really like her philosophy. I asked her what she brought from that championship team in terms of culture, and she immediately said details. She goes, the little things are actually the big things, and that was something that she really focuses on with her team, building that culture.
A lot that you can learn from Kim Mulkey. I know they'll be teeing off against Virginia Tech, LSU, later on tonight as the first look for SMU out of the timeout. A bit strong off the back iron. It takes the bump. And Yaya Felder would get 2 free throws. Nikki Collin, her third season at Baylor. 2021 when she was actually joining them, recorded the most wins by a rookie head coach in the country. She had 28 and actually leaving the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA, wanting to come back and impact the future of women's basketball. It's just been really good to see the impact that she's had. A couple of WNBA players on hand as well. Alyssa Smith as well as Queen Egbo. I'm pretty sure you're very familiar with them.
Yeah, they're not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
But no, I really like the way that she's brought her philosophy from the WNBA here to Baylor. When you're handling all these transfers and different personalities, you know, there's an art to that, to making sure that people come together. Well, SMU, again, this is going to be guard-oriented here with 4 out, 1 in. Chandler from Loyola was a volume shooter when she was at Loyola, so not afraid to take the shot.
And that is their first field goal since the 3-minute mark in the first quarter. It's hard to believe, but they were at the free throw line quite a bit to close out the first.
SMU switching to a zone. They don't run it a lot, but figuring here not have the shooters that they have for Baylor. Watch and see in their zone. It's very vulnerable in that back line. Let's see how Baylor exploits that. And Chandler, very bouncy, very athletic, and doesn't necessarily have to be a volume shooter here, but it would be good for SMU if she could score. She could get to double figures for them.
Five on the shot clock. Top of the key. Walker lost it. Felder finds it. Back to Walker. 3. Jones. SMU was red hot from the 3 to start the game. was actually 3 for 3 as a look on the inside for Madison Bartley. Got fouled. She'll get free throws.
And that whole process here, that break, took maybe 3.5 seconds. That's where Baylor's good. They're going to get the rebound. And great catch there by Madison Bartley.
Yeah.
That's where they're proficient. Get the rebound, and with this smaller lineup for SMU, they're only going to get one opportunity. Not going to see them get a whole lot of offensive rebounds with this group.
Dante Embry comes in for Tierra Young, now with 2 fouls.
With her on the bench, the question is for SMU, who's going to be that scorer for them? Who's going to create on their own?
Excuse me, partner. Madison Bartley, the transfer from Belmont. As you mentioned, just a lot of different transfers on this roster for Baylor. Actually led Belmont to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances.
Well, and that's the thing about the depth for Baylor is they have NCAA experience, having come from schools like Missouri, Kentucky, Stanford. They understand what that big-time basketball is.
Reagan Bradley will check back in for the Mustangs at the next dead ball. Bartley, power dribble, trying to get up off the rim, and nothing there. And a foul going against the Bears as we have a substitution coming in for the Mustangs.
Yeah, so there was a little hand fighting between Peterson and Bartley, and they get Peterson for the foul on the fast break.
Yeah, so correction, that's actually going to be on Jessica Peterson. Bartley off the mark.
Yeah, Bartley can hit that three. She hit that a lot when she was playing in Belmont, but didn't take that shot confidently.
Yeah, just shooting 25% from 3 this season. She'll have a conversation with Nikki Collin a little bit, and you could see just reading her lips, the hesitation there.
Good job communicating for Baylor on this play. They went over to shoot around how they wanted to play the screens.
Chandler trying to connect underneath to Jessica Patterson, and that's a tough one. Another turnover for SMU. That'll be their 6th.
SMU struggles to enter the ball into the post when they're, in their set. They're better at getting their post the ball on the move if they want them at the block. You see, in that first quarter, they had problems a couple times turning the ball over here and there, and then also here. Really struggled from that 45 to get to that 45-degree angle and make a good pass into the post.
TK Pitts back in the ball game, playing the top of that zone. Chandler guarding Fritz. Inside look, beautiful pass as Asia Blackwell finishes at the rim.
They are very vulnerable in that back line. Sometimes they over-rotate, sometimes they don't communicate, and that's twice now they've gotten hit on the weak side in their zone.
It's good to see Blackwell back after just playing 8 games last season due to injury. Looks pretty good to start. Tipped away, another turnover, back-to-back turnovers for the Mustangs, Helen.
Coach Collin helped the official call that. Making sure she's going in the right direction. Going back to that man-to-man, that player-to-player defense. Struggling with that zone. Tried it a couple times. Great pass.
Looks like they found something, Helen, at the rim. That is going to lead to a timeout as Baylor is on a 6-0 run in SMU. SMU, as we mentioned, coming into this game, they tip their hat to the defensive end, and Baylor coming in, the 5th best offense in the nation, starting to get things going on that end. And for SMU right now, as they had the 10-point deficit, really searching for answers, close to a 3-minute scoring drought, and are struggling to take care of the ball, have turned it over the last 3 possessions.
Yeah, and no coincidence that that scoring drought comes with Young on the bench. The question for them here is, who are we going to get to score? I would think they would try to go to Embry.
Talked about the spark off the bench for Pitts. Jones held up, foul on the inside. We believe it'll be called on the floor, so they'll get it underneath. So Yaya Felder picks up her first. Cut to the basket, misses the mark, and a good look.
Now you see SMU missing easy shots where you saw Baylor at the beginning missing easy shots.
Walker so quick getting to the rim, can connect on that one. Finally, a bucket for the Mustangs.
Jones is a smooth player, but she's really quiet on offense, and I think with Young out, she needs to be more aggressive, just like that, for getting scoring opportunities.
A lot of Jones' offense, too, if you look back at her tape, comes from the defensive end. How she gets things going. She's one of the top defenders and steals leaders in the conference. Walker, top of the key tray. Offensive board and another foul going against the Mustangs. That was the third look for the Bears in this possession.
And it all started again with the back line of that 2-3. Them getting the ball into the paint and going from there with opportunities and then crashing the basket.
So a litany of players coming in for Baylor. As Stella Fauntleroy is at the free throw line.
5 players from Baylor who can all shoot from 3-point range.
All right, well, tomorrow night on ESPN2, it's a doubleheader of men's college hoops. First, it's St. John's taking on West Virginia at 7 Eastern. Then it's a top 5 matchup between UConn and Kansas. Both games are also streamed live on the ESPN app. As we've been talking about great matchups on both ends. I mean, the men's challenges that we've seen, but also a couple of great games on the women's side on this slate. So it's been fun to watch and keep up for everything just 1 month in. Mia Jones from outside and back-to-back buckets for SMU. A good sign coming out of that timeout.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of getting another score in there, you have Young who came back in the game. Those two, basically, the offense runs through them about 46% of the points.
Turnover Baylor. How about the finish at the other end for Reagan Bradley?
She's been more aggressive going to the basket in transition than I've seen her all year.
It's been a significant amount of time on the bench, though, and you can tell the spark that she adds on the offensive end. Walker left alone up top, takes the dribble on the inside and too strong on the shot. Mustangs are 3 of their last 3. Young trying to expound and does.
Well, somebody needs to take the basketball. No communication there by Baylor.
They'll step aside. We'll take 30 seconds to do the same. Ooh, from Bradley.
And just being real aggressive. And then Young here, no one taking accountability on defense for the ball handler. They're back in their 2-3 zone. The middle is where they really struggle. That time Baylor able to get to the middle with the dribble and get an outside shot opportunity.
Walker struggling from the floor so far, 0 for 6. Another deflection and steal at the top of the key for Jones. Jones, a lot of contact, offensive foul as Walker stepped in for that one. So we have the steal at the top of the key, Helen, and that's something that we talked about defensively. How do they get better? But on that one, Mia Jones picks up her 2nd personal foul. But you can tell this is a team that's laser focused on what their particular roles are coming into this ball game.
So SMU's in the zone, but sometimes looks like a player-to-player because they go with people wherever they are in terms of cutting. But again, that's the 3rd time they've gotten the ball in the middle. That's the first time they've been able to score off that. They've missed the other 2 opportunities, but that middle of the zone is wide open for SMU and for Baylor to exploit.
Dariana Littlepage Bugs with 8 points, leading in scoring for the Bears. Tiara Young at this point is playing bully ball at the rim.
She can create her own shot. When they need a bucket, she's going to be the one to take the shot. Again, behind the zone. It's really carving that up. They've got to talk about the communication in that back line in the zone.
Edwards now with 6 points, 3 for 4 from the field.
I have not heard from Emery here in a while. Do you need to when Young hits that shot?
Tiara Young feeling it. 5 consecutive points for Young. Down 1 for the Mustangs. Less than 3 minutes to play in the first half. Outside shot by Blackwell off the mark, wide right. But an offensive board goes back to the Bears. Top of the key, nothing there. Third attempt, nothing there. Fourth shot, and that's the charm for Edwards.
6 offensive rebounds for Baylor. They are really crashing the boards.
They're out rebounding the Mustangs, 22-15.
Oh, that's great defense.
Travel call, so a turnover for Baylor, their 7th.
Defense is just effort. You see Walker there cutting off the baseline so Reagan Bradley can't score. Not able to take advantage of him on the other end, but those are the kinds of plays that Coach Nikki Collin likes from her team because that's what starts their offense. They are 66% field goal percentage shooting when they are in transition, and they get it from their defense.
Navia Hall checks in for SMU, the 5'10" sophomore out of Plano, Texas. Less than 2 minutes to play, the first half. It's been action-packed so far in the last couple of minutes. Back and forth we go between Baylor and SMU. It was raining earlier, but I'm starting to feel like it's raining on the inside.
Inside now. It's on the inside now.
You feel the same thing?
I do. I do.
Extends the lead. It was just one possession game. More contact. Young picks up the offensive foul there.
And you see the really good communication and rotation from Baylor off the dribbler. It's a great job there by Fritz. She's set. Just runs over. Now that is Young's 3rd foul, I believe.
That 3rd foul for Young will send her to the bench.
Just up middle of the zone for SMU.
Nice touch pass to the outside. Couldn't connect. Another one coming for Fauntleroy. That one goes down. Fauntleroy, just a player to keep your eyes on. The sophomore, big throw all freshman team last year, still on the other end. Edwards tried to thread the needle. Turnover for Baylor, last minute of play. So Jana Van Guytenbeek will pick up the foul there. That went back and forth. But for Baylor, they're really trying to press the issue in transition that we've seen. They have right now 8 fast break points. This is a quick team.
Yeah, and pressing the issue by getting second chance opportunities in their offense, crashing the boards, getting offensive rebounds.
A quick 7-0 run for Baylor after it was just a 1-possession game. 43 seconds left in this second quarter. Reagan Bradley looking for help at the top of the key. Finds Perry. And another foul going against the Bears. They wanted the offensive foul.
I'm not sure she gave her room to come down. I mean, we'd have to see the replay, but let's see if she gave her room.
So Jana picks up her 2nd consecutive foul. And they were lining up for a second, but the only team in bonus right now is Baylor. Good defense on Bradley, but another foul will go against Baylor. This one goes against Bella Fauntleroy.
Trying to keep Emery from cutting to the basket. That's a tall task.
Second on Fauntleroy. Flurry of fouls for Baylor. Embry outside. Knocked down a couple to start the game. Has gone cold since. Baylor can hold for the last shot of this half.
Watch for the penetration and the kick out.
Dana top the key. Didn't like the three. Turns it up. Fauntleroy at the rim. Misses. Offensive look. Another one for Dariana. Dariana Littlepage Buggs has entered the chat. Another bucket at the rim. And it's now in double figures.
Getting into the bonus. I think they did that in the first quarter, but the second quarter, I think they lost a little of that. Maybe because Sierra Young was on the bench with 3 fouls, they couldn't really find somebody that was going to bring that scoring. So they've got to figure that out here in the second half.
The assertiveness we've seen from Baylor in the first half on the glass. 10 offensive rebounds, 11 second chance points, 0 second chance points for the Mustangs. Does that change in the second half as Baylor will start things off with the rock? A lot of action at the top of the key. Fade away, no good for Andrews.
They start off right, trying to get, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, scoring opportunities for Andrews. He hasn't really been a total effect. He hit a couple threes, but didn't really need to be.
Embry on the inside, finding Amira Abdur-Rahim, nothing there.
She's somebody that Coach wants to get more out of in the second half. She sat down in foul trouble in that first half. They need more from her in terms of scoring.
It has 2 fouls. One of the players shooting over 55% from the field. They'll lead her in the second half. Young with the rebound as Blackwell was off the target. Jones. Dante Embry has gone quiet in the second quarter. She had a couple of big buckets to start the game. Went 2 for 3 from outside and haven't heard much from her since then.
They really struggled to get the ball to her in the post. And I wonder if Coach will go to, she talked earlier in shooting practice today about going to a little bit more pick and pop to give her opportunities.
Asia Blackwell picks up her second personal. Set up the shot clock for the Mustangs. Bradley, finally an offensive board for SMU and a bucket to follow. Maybe they heard your speech. They felt what you were about to say.
Yeah.
Once a coach, always a coach, Ellen.
Exactly. Sometimes that gets me in trouble when I'm on the mic. Once a coach, always a coach. Once again, lack of communication.
Edwards able to get it out, and Jones tried to flip it back to Amira. Nothing there. 3-on-1 opportunity outside look for Andrews. Blackwell miss. It's a little bit like hot potato out there. It's finally Dariana Littlepage Buggs finishes.
Baylor just more aggressive going after loose balls, whether it's in the air, whether it's on the floor.
Embry with the spin, and an offensive foul will be called. So Embry picks up her first.
They're just trying to make something happen there.
SMU looking for a better offensive flow. They've scored 16 points in the first 2 quarters. Baylor, on the other hand, had 20 or more points in both the first and second quarters. As an outside three drained, Edwards Andrews, excuse me, knocks that one down, and this is the biggest lead for the Bears. Outside look, Jones in like the three, baseline jumper, rattles that one in. Timeout for the Mustangs. Letting you know 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. And seeing that clip from Robin Roberts, it just gives me chills every time. That was the first ESPYs that I was actually able to go to, sitting in the second level, watching her speech, a mentor of mine, and a woman that I just revere so much, and her fight and resilience, and talking about the importance of giving back. And the Jimmy V donation is just really special to see, and hopefully we can continue to help save lives.
Well, I think that everybody's been touched in some form or fashion by that, and I look forward to the time when we don't have to have a Jimmy V week.
So a lot of contact at the top of the key. The foul is going to go against Sarah Andrews with the bump. So Sarah Andrews picks up her third foul, and that will send her to the bench with Yaya Felder coming in for Baylor. Yaya Felder 0 for 2 from the field, but 4 points from the free throw line, if that explains the aggressiveness that you're going to get from her off of the bench. Jones was left alone, pulls up, in and out. Tipped out of bounds, and so we'll go back to Baylor. We talk about just when someone may get into foul trouble for Baylor, the next person comes in and no drop off whatsoever at half. We talked about the bench points, and it hasn't changed since then. 16-2 advantage, Helen.
Yeah, and they have players who can, on their own, score, and they don't need help. But just when you come off the bench and you're playing in that team concept.
This one is going to be a foul for over the backs, Edwards. Didn't really like the call, but I like the smile with the officials. It's always nice when the players can have that nice relationship with the officials to laugh it off.
You know, I like her. We haven't seen a whole lot from her in terms of stats, but I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, she is the anchor for this team. They need her in the game to win. They need her skill set. And at some point, you'll see her go off for a barrage of points.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pac-12 All-Freshman and Rookie of the Year for Utah. That was back in 2019. Talked about her stops in Kentucky. Nice look on the inside. Too much to handle underneath. Felder took one too many steps, so an opportunity at the rim. Beautiful pass, just a little bit too much underneath the basket.
Yeah, I'm sitting here counting how long it takes for them to get the ball down the floor. That was about 4 seconds, and that's anywhere from 3 to 4 seconds when they're in offensive transition. It's really difficult for people to get back and identify who you have when they're getting the ball down the floor that fast.
10 turnovers for Baylor. They do have the 11-point edge over SMU as we're approaching the 5-minute mark here in the third quarter. Dish to the rim, and how about the nice look? Actually, it's going to go away from SMU. And a foul, so a missed opportunity. Embry thought that was an and one. So did I.
I thought it was great execution.
Actually, one of the better offensive series we saw from the Mustangs.
One of the more fluid series that they've had.
Cash in! Aaliyah Blackwell for 3.
Blackwell known for her rebounding when she's out in Missouri, but for Baylor, she's been an offensive threat. Baylor go into his zone for this one series out of the timeout.
This is the biggest lead for Baylor. What does SMU need to do at this point as we're approaching the halfway mark of the third?
I think they need to get Tierra Young involved, get her some more opportunities where she doesn't have to go one-on-one like that, but get more open shots. But that works too.
But doesn't it look so nice, though?
Oh, beautiful pass.
So on the second attempt, there's a foul for Dariana. Will go to the free throw line. And so SMU with a nice bucket on one end and have to change some things in their transition defense to prevent Baylor from going off. We'll be back right after the break.
what you're looking.
We got to look at a couple of these final results. I mean, some notable matchups that we've been talking about all broadcast. South Carolina, North Carolina, that came down to the wire, 65-58, that South Carolina remains #1. I'm going to skip the middle one because Florida State didn't take care of business against Arkansas for the ACSC Challenge. And how about the return of Angel Reese? Right now they are down 8-15 against Virginia Tech. Georgia Amore is lights out, one of the best scorers I've seen in college basketball, and has really put on a show to start this season.
I mean, some of the best post footwork you will ever see with her. I mean, she's just phenomenal. Every time I see her, I get mad that she didn't go to Wake Forest, because
with Elizabeth Kitley,
we'd be so good if she went to Wake Forest.
Yeah, Elizabeth Kitley, the two-time ACC Player of the Year, returning for another season, saying we want to run it back after they were able to get to the Final Four. More hustle plays coming from Baylor, and a foul. And Shantae Embry picks up the foul there. We were talking about what's going to set teams apart. What set teams apart, such as Baylor, that comes in ranked 13th in the nation, and really being challenged early in the season. It's the winning plays, right? You've been able to see them throughout this ball game so far.
Yeah, winning plays on defense, on offense, but I just think their maturity and their veteran presence all the way down the line for them makes a huge difference. They came in a little shaky like the first couple of minutes. It was their first game away from home, but they've definitely settled down in that first quarter. I mean, and if you look at their offense, like, they just know what they're doing. All right, you look at SMU, and they're struggling to figure out what they should be doing, where they should be getting their opportunities from. Two different sides of that coin there. This is a great matchup with Young and the long arms of Fauntleroy.
Young can get to the bucket at any point of the game, and we've seen double teams being thrown at her at certain points. But Tierra Young off the bounce, just incredible. A bit more of a defense switch as another tray knocked down Yaya Felder.
I'm going to say this one more time. That weak side of that zone is really struggling for SMU, and they've gotten tons of three-point shots just from skipping the basketball, because they're too far into the lane on the weak side when the ball goes away from them.
15-point lead for Baylor, their biggest of the game.
So now their offense has been reduced to Tierra Young taking a shot. And when she misses, they get fast break opportunities like that.
I mean, how many plays that we watched Baylor have everyone running in transition? Like, it's almost a set play at this point.
I mean, that is their offense, is their fast break from the defense. Again, another back, just depth forward is not getting out there, and then getting opportunities from their defense. Great passes. They're all running hard. No one from SMU is trying to figure out who they have, and they are really struggling. SMU struggling on both ends of the floor.
Baylor has held a top 10 offensive rating in 13 of the past 14 seasons. And it doesn't look like they're letting up any time soon. SMU facing their second top 25 team in 4 games. So they've been tested of late as well. How about going back to their game against Colorado and the test that coach said that really showed her what her team needed to do as well.
If you look at Baylor, I talked about finding their identity. They're in the fine-tuning stage now in the pre-conference season, and very different from SMU trying to figure things out.
All right, well, Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 basketball fans with over 275 exclusive basketball games, including 25-plus men's and women's conference games, plus early rounds of the Big 12 tournament. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now, right now.
right now.
I added that last part. 7-0 run for Baylor as they continue to build on this lead. Up 19. They've hit 3 of their last field goals.
SMU getting one opportunity and one opportunity only. I give Baylor credit because that's the 3rd time they've defended that offense, and they went over shooter on how they wanted to play. Ooh,
a lot of contact on the other end, so that's going to be an offensive foul going against Baylor. Yaya Felder was a little confused by the foul there, but Edwards picks up the foul there.
Oh, show good sportsmanship. We'll see if Pitts is okay.
And I tell you what, we talked about just the limiting of rebounds for Baylor. Piecing things together, checking all the boxes in order to get a solid win, right? They're almost double the amount of rebounds, 37-20 on the glass advantage for the Bears.
Their intensity on defense, their communication, they're not letting SMU go where they want to go, staying in between them and the basket.
Reagan Bradley, blocked by Edwards. Amir Abdul-Rahim has yet to score in this ball game.
Again, the long arm of Bugs. Nice steal there by Jones.
Jones had some options. Pitts swipes in, and a foul at the rim will send Pitts to the free throw line.
A little too far for that cross-court pass in transition. And Jones read that well. And then the opportunity here for the free throws for Pitts.
So 11 turnovers for Baylor. They average about 13 per game. And on the other end, 13 for SMU that they average and not on the ball. So 2 free throws as well as the ball back for the Mustangs. First and miss. So we'll get one more. Reagan Bradley, as we mentioned, 85% from the free throw line. Bradley, her 3rd trip to the free throw line.
Now, how good is our crew already putting up the NCAA
I love it. They're just great.
And helping people understand what's going on?
And it's that lower one, excessive hard or unnecessary contact that the officials came over and so eloquently expressed to you why they chose that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think she was going for the ball, but yeah, obviously above, that's a dangerous area going above the neck and snapping her head back. That's the first opportunity where SMU's been real aggressive on that weak side of the offensive rebound from Pitts.
Less than 90 seconds to play in this 3rd quarter. Edwards, travel call.
Got a little hop slide there after she dribbled the basketball. And nobody blocked out Pitts. So a little 2-person game here with Jones and Young.
Bradley left alone and can't connect. Less than a minute to play. They were looking for some points here as well because they've had turnovers in their last 3 possessions. Felder working baseline, going at Bradley. Has the flood pass. Fauntleroy from outside. 4-court D. Pitts receives.
I mean, that's the first time where they've had, the second time where they've had that kind of break on offense and taken advantage of it. Watch for a little pick and pop here if they go with the screen from Edwards.
Less than 10 on the game clock. Edwards at the top of the key. Walker got the ball back, sends it out. Fauntleroy to in the corner, gets it to go! Bella Fauntleroy continues on this high-scoring game as she now has 16.
Making them, at the beginning of practice, really think about how they should perform. I think it's a great prompt.
We'll see if they can get it done as they have 10 more minutes to even the score. Angel Gray alongside Helen Williams.
At this point, if you're SMU, you just want to try to run your offense fluid, get the opportunities that you want from those particular plays in your progression.
Amira Abdur-Rahim has yet to score in this ball game. 0 for 8 from the field. Backdoor cut, that's broken up by Tierra Young. I think it's very interesting, too. We talk about the scoring of Baylor as there's a turnover there. Not something that Nikki Collin is really happy about, right?
No.
But she talked about the pieces she has. And if she told us once they really start playing selfless, that's when they're going to be really good, which can be kind of scary considering that when they are sharing the ball, they're third in the nation in assists.
Well, and I think for her as a coach, you know, we asked her what she brought from the WNBA. She's adjusting her offense to the skills of her players, so she's going to put them in the best position that works for them so that they can be successful, and that helps with being unselfish.
Reagan Bradley, bit of a magician on that finish. Bradley has 10. Everyone just waiting to see who that was going to go off of, and SMU will get it back.
Hey, you can see Coach Collin not happy. There's not enough ball movement. It's not fluid on offense the last couple of times down the floor.
Jones pulls up. Nice jumper for Tamia Jones.
A nice move coming off that screen, reading it, taking what they give her.
This on the inside, another bucket. Little Paige Buggs, 6, now 18 points, just one shy.
And Felder setting that up. She's such a good offensive player. You've got to honor that when she drives. And
Edwards tracks that one down. Another backdoor look. That one.
And those are
No
things
good
that
for Pomeroy.
may not affect them right now, but when they get into conference play, they can't have that many misses that close to the basket.
Another quick response for SMU, so a timeout will be called. SMU is seeking their third title and first AAC champ appearance. For volleyball, SMU advanced today against Texas State. They'll see Texas tomorrow as well, so a lot going on for SMU right now within conference. It's been fun to see as well, and we got this game right now with Baylor and the fight for Texas as Baylor right out of the timeout knocks that one down. Jada Walker with the three.
Always like to see good execution on offense coming out of the timeout. You see here Coach Wilson drawing up a play, trying to get set offense, scoring opportunity for set offense.
It's been a tough second half for Shantae Embry. Right now at 6 points, and all of those came in the first couple of seconds in the game as on the other side, Ariana Little Paige Buggs. How impressive has she been tonight?
Yeah, she has been on both ends of the floor. Very impressive. 10 rebounds, 18 points.
Last year's Big 12 Rookie of the Year, all freshman team as well. And how about this? Third in rebounds per game. She's shown that tonight.
Well, she's such a matchup problem for people because she's technically a guard, but she's so long and pursues the basketball so well on offense. As you see Fauntleroy there getting to the basket. No help on the weak side from SMU. They really want more from Little Paige Bugs, and she's giving it to them today.
Bradley actually got bumped. Nothing called. Slow to get up as well. Yaya Felder will pull things out and reset a bit for the Bears.
Baylor pretty much getting whatever they want in their half-court offense.
Dash to the basket.
There. Just a beautiful, beautiful slip of the screen.
Bella Fauntleroy with a beautiful pass. I know if we're looking at tape, when Nikki Collins, she said, I want my team to be a little bit more selfless. We've seen it in this second half.
But I bet she'll focus on those, on the things that they didn't do well. Here you see just a nice little slip screen there. No help from the weak side. They have been late all game on the weak side, SMU, no matter what defense they've been in. They've got to work on that in practice tomorrow.
And can you believe it that Sarah Andrews checks back in the ball game? That'll send Yaya Felder to the bench. But we haven't seen a lot of her in this ball game, and they have a 20-point lead.
And they didn't really need her.
Nine points that Sarah Andrews has.
Here, if you're Coach Collin, you have the luxury of just trying a few different lineups here with 5 minutes to go in the game, just tinkering a little bit to see how well people work together.
Dre Edwards just 2 rebounds away from a double-double. Flips that one up. How about the acrobat move by Jada Walker?
Well, she has speed with and without the basketball, and you let her get to that left side, that left hand. She is tough to beat. A little hesitation there, a little brush screen by Edwards, and a nice little scoop shot there. She got up real quick, too, didn't she?
It's the bounce. It's the youthful knees.
I think she's done a good job this year. When she was at Kentucky, she played a little bit more off the ball, and you know, Coach Collins saying that she wanted to have 2 ball handlers in the game at the same time so she could maybe put Andrews off the ball, and I think that Walker has adjusted really well to that this year.
I know that this is Baylor's first game away, but it feels more like their home game with the way that they've been able to travel. Their fans here gave the standing ovation to Jada Walker as she checked out of the ball game. Dish on the inside, can't connect for Edwards. Gets it back. Foul on the play. We'll see who it goes against. Go against Jaya Carey. As Maya Chandler checks back in for the Mustangs. They can have a highlight reel with the passes we've seen to the rim.
They run the floor really hard, and that's their first objective, is to get the ball down the floor and see what happens before the defense gets set up.
Edwards lines up, nothing there. Less than 5 minutes to play in this ball game. It's the biggest lead for Baylor. Have not trailed as far as the quarters. Have won the first, second, and third. Scored 20 or more in all 3 and continue to build on it as they are outscoring SMU 15-9, now 16-9.
And again, it is their defense. They only allow opponents 58 points a game, so they're on target right now.
Amira asking for the ball, gets it at the top of the key. That's just her first bucket of the night.
And she has struggled around the basket.
Baylor has had assists on 11 of its last 14 field goals. Will we see another in this one?
They average 24 assists per game, so headed toward that selflessness that Coach Collin wants them to have.
Fauntleroy outside, decided to drive. Baseline gets it to go. They are feeling it.
And you can just see the body language and the facial expression of SMU just dejected on defense. And Baylor continues to be intense on their defensive end.
Tierra Young took a minute to line that one up off the mark. slower pace, faster pace. We've seen it all from Baylor tonight. But with the advantage, slowing things down on the offensive end as the outside shot by Edwards is no good.
SMU just reduced to Young just taking shots. And Coach Cullen going to get a timeout here just to get some substitutes in.
Bears, how about this attendance for them? Up in the top deck as well.
They travel well to see their Bears play.
Catarina Pereira sends that one outside. Dish on the inside. How about that one, Ed?
We see so
Beautiful
many
dish.
hustle plays from Baylor where they've gotten the ball and get somebody that's just standing there on weak side, just quicker to the basketball.
Less than 2 minutes to play. Hall off the deck to the right, short. Outside look, they keep pouring it in, and Danae Fritz joins in on the three-point party.
Well, I said at the beginning of the broadcast, they're trying to figure out who they are. I think they definitely got closer here today in this game. Just intense defense, a lot of offensive rebounds, good communication, and a lot of different people scoring, which is a plus for them in terms of their depth.
Less than a minute to play. Baylor, after a slow start in the first quarter, found their rhythm and have not looked back. We talked about at the top of the game, that SMU is still trying to work out a few kinks as they have dropped their last three and are about 43 seconds from making it 4 consecutive games. Differences, some things that need to be fine-tuned, even going against a team that, from the length perspective, from the ring perspective, had a little bit more. But in this game, what did you see?
I just saw defensively they weren't in sync, especially when they played their zone. So I think if they had been better at that, they would have been more confident on offense. But that's something that they struggled with tonight, that matchup zone, that 2-3. And they're going to have to fix that if they intend to play that the rest of the season. They were very disjointed on defense.
Lost 84-69 against number 5 Colorado. Have another game here at home on December 4th. That's going to be against Arkansas Pine Bluff before they head on the road to La Tech. But right now, it's been all Baylor Bears as they will move on to 6-0 on the season and remain undefeated. Their next game will be against Oregon, followed by Delaware State, as the Baylor Bears and Nikki Collin has to be pleased with how many people were able